Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Thursday, October 21st, 2021, and this is Wake Up with Ray G. Jay, this feels real weird, man. I mean, everybody should be up at this point. Like, we are an hour and a half after we normally start. I had to take my son to school today. Got a wedding that I have to go to this weekend. How are you this morning, Jay, and how does it feel to do this show at like an hour, 2 hours later, man? Sleep in and all that good stuff.
It's awesome. Yeah, everyone should be awake, which is great. But the funny thing is that I woke up as if we were doing the show at 8 o'clock. Like nothing for me changed. And then I was like, wait a minute, we're starting late today. And I was pretty
Yeah,
excited about that. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's just funny, just routine is just the routine now.
yeah.
50th show, waking up with
50.
you.
50.
55. Oh,
Dang.
yeah.
That's
Crazy,
what's up.
right?
That's what's
It's a
up.
routine now. Up at the same time, start finalizing the show sheet, graphics, all that stuff. But today's starting a little late, so people, no excuses. They better
No
be here. They better be
excuses.
in the
No
comments.
excuses.
No excuses today.
50 shows is crazy, bro. Like, I mean, literally, we do this Monday through Friday, every damn day of the week. And we got a lot more shows to do. So just happy to have hit this mini milestone with you. Glad that Betts and FTN gave us the blessing to do this. You know what I'm saying? Let us do our own
Absolutely.
thing. Let us rock out how we rock out. And I appreciate all the good people who tap in with us every day, man. That's dope to have so many people in this community rock with us and check out the show and support us. So, man, we got a lot to get to. Got a lot to get to, Jay. So let's go ahead and just jump into it, baby.
Wake up! This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
All right. So I literally had a dream about this last night. Don't ask why, because I've been watching a lot of NBA. So excited about the NBA. And Jay, I had a question. I want you to rank some players for me, okay? But before I have you rank these players, like, let's just talk about something real quick. And we were talking about this earlier. Zion Williamson, all right? I don't know if this is a for real picture, if this is Photoshop, but apparently Zion, the news is he's pushing 300 pounds. We ultra athletic, star NBA young guy. I mean, what do you make of Zion? Like this, he's listed at 284. We checked this out today. What do you make of Zion Williamson and his athletic ability, his size, how good he would be if he was like 260? Do you believe he's 280, 284? What do we make of Zion Williamson and this transformation of his body in a couple of years?
You call it a transformation, but really he just got fat. Like that's just the truth. He is dealing with an injury right now, so he's not running as much as he probably should be. But with a lot of these athletes, they're young, they're having fun, they're doing whatever. They're still eating as much as they want to eat without working as hard as they should be working to maintain that body weight. To talk about Zion's weight itself, it's going to be a bit of a problem, not to
Mm.
say he's injury prone, but his body is certainly not conducive to the NBA as a whole. A lot of NBA players have a body archetype for better or worse. That's just how it works in the NBA. And all these sports scientists, that's what their job is, to make sure that these players can play at a peak performance. And Zion breaks that trend entirely. He's on an island out on his own. I was looking up some BMI data. BMI data isn't very conclusive about anything. But when you have all these players between, anywhere from 20 all the way to 30, and Zion's all the way up at 32, and he keeps getting injured, you're like, well, the athleticism, the strength, the power, the stress on those knees, on his feet, which is primarily where he's having his injuries, that's a bit of a problem. And so for me, if he slimmed down, of course, health is the biggest thing. But on top of that, I think he'd also be a little bit quicker. Maybe he even jumps a little bit higher. All these things could probably work in his favor. But the problem is that his game is built around power.
Yeah.
And having that extra weight definitely helps him be more powerful, depending on, where his strength is at. We can't really tell that as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, and I think part of the power and strength, I mean, some people they just call it grown man strength, just God given strength. Some people are just strong, right? Cock diesel, strong for no reason. And I think that's Zion. So, I mean, my question to you is if he's 300 pounds now and this good, how good would he be if he was like 270, 260? You know what I mean? Like, how good would he
I
be
mean,
if he
he'd be
dropped 30,
pretty
40?
damn good.
I
He'd
mean,
be
he's
pretty
pretty
damn
damn
good. You
good
know how
now.
dominant he is now, but the thing is that I don't think it makes his game that much better to be smaller. What he needs to improve, obviously, is just his jump shot and just working his game outside. He's already great inside. If he drops weight, that probably wouldn't hurt his inside game. But if we're just talking about weight, throwing your weight around, it would, like kind of in a general sense. So he needs to work outward. But I think in order to play outward, to play on the wing in that point forward role that I think Zion could potentially get to, he would have to drop some weight, probably to 270. If he could somehow get to 260,
Yeah,
man, that would probably be peak Zion as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
But that would be, a transformational shift. He's a power forward right now, only 6'7", but if he played on the wing, that's a different game. But I think Zion could do it, man. He's that talented.
All right, so here's my question. You're an NBA GM. You are a GM, and you have to start your franchise with one of these. I want you to rank these players in order of how you would take them from 4 to 1. Zion Williamson, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Ja Morant. Rank those 4 to 1.
That's tough. So it's easy tier 1, tier 2 for me. It would be Ja Morant and LaMelo Ball first, and second, I'm not sure who I would take first. I really like what I've seen from
You just
Ja,
don't listen
but I
to the
think the answer
instructions.
is
I
still
said
LaMelo.
give me 4 to 1.
I will
4,
give you.
3,
Oh, you
no,
want 4?
4,
Oh,
3,
4 is
2,
Edwards
1.
for sure, by a
Okay.
mile. 4 is Edwards. Zion would be 3, and then I think I would have probably LaMelo at 1, and then Ja at 2. I think LaMelo's got a slightly higher ceiling, and he's got way better range than Ja
He's
does, and
good,
equal
man.
playmaking ability. Yeah, he's
He's
damn good.
he's legit. Like, do you think he's all-star this year?
Probably. I don't see why not.
Probably.
He'll get a ton of votes,
He'll
especially
get
from
the
the media and
he'll get the
from the
fan
fans,
votes.
right?
He'll get the fan vote. I mean, he dropped what he had 31, 31.
31, I think 29 minutes yesterday or something, or
Yeah,
25 minutes. It
I
was
think he still
weird.
had
He
like
didn't play a lot of minutes yesterday.
It's good, man. I'm with you. If I'm starting an NBA team right now, it would be LaMelo at 1, Ja Morant 2, Zion 3, and Anthony Edwards 4. I didn't include Luka and Trey because I think they've already kind of proved themselves. Luka would absolutely be 1. Would you take
Yeah.
LaMelo over Trey Young?
No, I don't think I would. I really like what
Yeah,
I've seen from Trey Young, not just as a player, but as a
yeah,
leader too. He really
yeah.
has grown into his own. And I think we would be lucky if LaMelo could lead the Charlotte Hornets kind of the way that we're seeing Trey
Yeah.
lead the Atlanta Hawks.
That's why I didn't include Luka or Trey because in my opinion those two are they're ahead of all of the 4. But I
Yeah.
think there's a case to be made. John Morant's he's good too, man. I mean, he's just stuck in Memphis, right? But he's
Mhm.
he's legit. So just a question, I wanted to see where you were, heat check you on those NBA players. And speaking of the NBA, I'm hearing people say it's crazy because it's the first game, but I'm hearing people say the Knicks Celtics game was game of the year last night. I mean, it was pretty dope, though. It was a pretty dope game, especially in
Yeah, it was pretty
overtime
damn
when they
good.
were just going back and forth with 3-pointers. Jalen Brown went off in that matchup, 36 points. Jason Tatum was horrible in that one. It's funny, I see the notes. You said Ray's favorite player in the NBA, LaMelo Ball. He's not my favorite player in the NBA, but I
Don't
do.
lie, man. He's your favorite player in the
No,
NBA.
LeBron James is my favorite player in the NBA. Then LaMelo
Oh,
Ball. It's LeBron, then LaMelo. LaMelo's my second. He's dope, man. He's good. He's good. And I like the fact that he called his shot from like a sophomore in high school. He did it unconventionally. And like he was dope, man. He's good. He's a great NBA player already, man. Dude is legit. What else happened in the NBA last night? A bunch of shit happened in the NBA. We ain't covering all of that. But go ahead and talk about the NFL news, man. We were talking yesterday. Baker Mayfield, we
ugh.
thought he was gonna play, but he's out, right? Baker's out.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield confirmed out yesterday afternoon. So there we go. We got Case Keenum starting. And honestly, if you're a Browns fan, I think this is actually good news. Case Keenum is a capable backup. He's honestly a borderline starter, I think, caliber quarterback, depending on situation. Now, he's not going to be able to lean on that run game because we know that Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb already out. So I don't really know where that leaves them on offense. Odell Beckham Jr. unlikely to suit up with a significant shoulder injury, but there is a small chance Jarvis Landry gets activated today. And if he is activated, he will play. So that is some positive news. Left tackle Jedrick Willis is dealing with an ankle injury, but will play. But right tackle Jack Conklin is confirmed out, which is bad news because that's the edge that Von Miller rushes off of. So, and he already talked about how he said he was going to kill the guy across from him this weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he said that, but he's feeling some type of way and he's ready to go after Case Keenum. So we'll see what happens as far as that's
concerned. Speaking of OBJ, you see the jersey I got on, right? You see the jersey we got on. OBJ. Love me some Odell Beckham Jr. I am not excited about this game last night, but I am appreciative to have football on the TV screen. So I will be tapped in watching the Browns and the Broncos battle it out. These two ugly orange uniform teams. We have to watch this tonight, but I am excited for football. But we got to get into some of the games, man. Find some props that we like. It's a little early. A lot of the prop lines don't drop until Friday, but we're not doing a show on Friday. So we just got to find what we can, kind of talk about the narratives here, and we'll have some fun with it, man. Let's jump in to beat the rush.
Wake up! This is Beat the Rush.
Get out of the way, jackass! All right, Jay. So what are we doing? What's the first game on this damn thing?
Should be Green Bay.
What'd you say?
Should be Green Bay, Washington.
Yeah, let's do it. Green Bay, Washington football team. Packers favored by 9.5. Goodness. Over under 49 points. Aaron Rodgers versus Taylor Heineke. What do you think, Jay? What's going down with this one, bro?
Well, I mean, the Packers favored by 10 is really no surprise. They're at home, and the football team is still terrible. They're still allowing over 30 points a game. They allowed, I think, 35 to the Chiefs last week. I don't understand how this defense is so bad. Like, this defensive line is great. The talent is there. The linebacking core improved. The secondary was supposed to be better this year, and they're terrible. Like, there's no reason why the Packers shouldn't drop 30 to 40 points on them. Like, I don't really see a situation where they don't. It just comes down to, from a betting perspective, where do you want to put your money? Because Aaron Rodgers probably not going to throw for a ton of yards. Aaron Jones will be involved. A.J. Dillon will probably be involved. Devontae Adams, of course, will be involved. But from a prop perspective, I don't really know where to go. Like, man, like Aaron Rodgers is kind of the guy I want to go after because I think he can throw a lot of yards. And I was even going to say to people, if you want to look for a line that's probably going to be super light, look for an MVS touchdown and a long touchdown at that. Because again, this defense is allowing over 300 yards per game through the air. So why can't we see a long bomb touchdown from Aaron Rodgers? It's been a while since we've seen that. They've been moving the ball methodically.
He hasn't been throwing a lot. So there were no official props out for Aaron Rodgers right now?
None for anybody in this game.
All right, so Prize Picks has Aaron Rodgers at 260.5. So we can sort of like, I mean, he had 195 last week versus Chicago. He's at home this week. I don't know, man. I mean, he should, but I just don't have confidence in him, man. They're not asking him to throw like that, man.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, like they will win either way, whether they choose to run, whether they choose to pass. Like, that's just how bad Washington is. So that's the biggest thing with betting these lines is that there is no reason why we won't see a bunch of points in some form of fashion. So if you want to bet anytime touchdowns on these guys, Ray, what'd you find?
I'm looking at the show sheet and I'm looking at Prize Picks for the next game, and I was like, whoa. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that next. I was just like, oh shit. But Aaron Jones, 65.5 rushing yards.
I like that. I think he can do that in probably 10 runs. Like, that's just how bad Washington is. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. And the Packers are still only allowing 206 yards through the air. So don't be betting on Taylor Heineke to bring them back in this game. And I don't know the status of Jair Alexander, but even still, like, I was surprised.
He got put on IR. I thought Jair was.
Yeah, see that but the crazy thing is hasn't been playing, but the Packers still have the fourth best pass defense in the NFL, right? Which to me is surprising. 206 yards a game, fourth in the NFL. I'm not going after Taylor Heineke. We don't even know the status of Antonio Gibson, right? Yeah. Antonio Gibson's dealing with his tibia injury. I was going to say to people, J.D. McKissic is a real threat. Like, his receptions, his yards through the air, they are going to be a serious prop that you probably want to look at, because if it's even at 40 yards, it's got a good chance of hitting, and it's probably sitting around 30 yards. DeAndre Swift's one of the best receiving backs in the league, and his prop's only 35 and a half yards. So J.D. McKissic, again, probably in the 25 to 30 range at worst.
Nothing on the picks for JD, and I'm assuming that's because they don't know what Antonio Gibson is going to do. You know what I'm saying? So they got to kind
Exactly.
of slow play that. Terry McLaurin, again, has been absolutely horrible since I proclaimed him a top 5 receiver. But I see his prospect 71.5 yards for Terry McLaurin. 71.5.
A little high for my
I
liking,
think this is a
but
get
it's
right
not
spot
terrible.
for him, man. He hadn't done shit in like 2 weeks. So I think this is a good get right spot for McLaurin. Let's take a look at Kansas City, Tennessee. This is prop heaven right here. This should be fun on both sides of the ball. Pass catchers, touchdowns, rushing yards, all kind of stuff, right? So after their slightly improved performance in week 6, the Chiefs defense still allows nearly 30 points per game, and the Titans haven't been much better, averaging 27 points per game given up. Not expecting a whole lot of defense to be played in this one. We both think it is going to be a heavy dose of offense. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and on the Tennessee side, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, a little bit of Ryan Tannehill. Tennessee is averaging 164.2 rushing yards per game, led by Derrick Henry. We know that, right? We do know that. And the Kansas City Chiefs, still one of the worst league's defenses, and against the run, they are ranked 6th from the bottom, like 6th worst. 133 yards given up per game, and they're going up against the best running back that we've seen in the NFL in the past, like since Adrian Peterson was in his prime. This should be fun for all bettors of props, and we'll start with Patrick Mahomes. Let's start with Mahomes, 325 and 2.5 touchdowns. What are you thinking about this one?
I want the over on both. Come on, man. This game's going to be a shootout.
325?
Why not? What is Tennessee going to do to stop him? Like, realistically, why would they even bother running the ball?
They played all right versus Josh Allen.
They did? Didn't Josh Allen have like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns?
Did he? Did he have 350? Did he have 350?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, shit.
Josh Allen went off, and there was receivers running open.
Versus Josh.
Three receivers over 88
over
yards.
88 yards. I do remember. We talked about that. Yeah.
Yes, and I believe 2 long touchdowns.
Okay, fine. Over Patrick Mahomes, right? So you're going over 325 for Mahomes?
Easy over. Give me Kelce and Hill over 100 apiece.
You think Kelce and Hill over 100 apiece?
Oh, yeah. I like Hill better in this game. I think the deep ball was exploited last week, and we saw that from the beta receivers. Both Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley got deep. So I think even still, Hill on a deep ball is very much in play against Tennessee.
The one lock of the week, Patrick Mahomes over 19.5 rushing yards. Again, folks, he is. He's hit this damn thing like every week of the season. It's just free money at this point. Like, Mahomes is good for it. Lock it in. 19.5 rushing yards. Take the over on Patrick. One of these days the under is coming, but I don't. Is this the week he goes under? Is this the week he just airs it out and just gives it to Tennessee and doesn't run the ball?
I think so. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's not going to run the ball. The issue is the pass rush from Tennessee isn't great, although they did play pretty well against Josh Allen. I believe they had 2 or 3 sacks.
Tennessee is down Caleb Farley, torn ACL, out for the season. So another pass catcher out of that secondary. It's another pass defender out of the secondary. Like, you're smirking, but it's fucking football, dude. That's another cornerback that's not there, which just goes to increase the chances of Patrick Mahomes throwing for more yards. So don't laugh. Like, that's for real. He's out for the season.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, but he's still a rookie. He hasn't been playing very well. I mean,
I don't think it makes much of a difference personally. I'm saying it's another defender not there. Regardless if he's a rookie or a 50-year vet, it's another weapon in the secondary that's not there for Patrick Mahomes to exploit.
I see. Well, either way, I'm still taking all the overs. I think the one I'm not sure about is Tannehill's over at 249.5. And although I'm expecting a shootout, Derrick Henry, man, he played a great game last week, and Tannehill did not hit his over. I don't know how many rushing yards Derrick Henry had. I think it was like over 150, right? And so his prop this week, we said we'd take the over no matter what. King Henry, all hail the king, 126.5 rushing yards.
Yeesh.
Ray, are you still in on 126.5 as an over-under?
100%. Yeah. 100% in. I mean, the best way for Tennessee to neutralize Patrick Mahomes and keep that potent offense off of the field against that exposed secondary is to run King Henry. And I don't care if Chris Jones is back. I don't care if it's Chris Jones, Tommy Lee Jones. I don't care who it is, Osmosis Jones. Derrick Henry over 126 and a half rushing yards. Like literally, I put a cigarette in my mouth and repeat what I just said. It does not matter. Tommy Lee Jones, it doesn't matter, man. Derrick, I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over. Derrick Henry 125, 126 and a half. And I think that line is there to scare some people away. He's averaging
Yeah.
133. I mean, or 100 and what's he averaging a game? Derrick Henry, like 100.
Tennessee is averaging 164 as a team,
164.
right? You know, Henry's getting probably 150 of those yards
Yeah,
every
yeah,
game.
straight.
But yeah,
Right.
Kansas City's allowing 133
Yeah,
per
I'm
game.
taking the
So
over.
that's
I'm
already
not
there.
scared of it, man. I'm not scared of it. I got courage, conviction. I'm taking the over Derrick Henry. AJ Brown, 67 and a half. I mean, he came on in the second half of last week's game. I mean, he came on. He had food poisoning. He ate Chipotle. You don't eat Chipotle. My wife eats Chipotle, and I tell her all the time. And every time she does it, she says not good things happen afterwards. And I keep telling her, stay away. I don't fool with Chipotle. And I knew when I saw that they announced that they're going to serve brisket, I immediately I'm out. You're like, what are you doing? I don't want brisket from Chipotle. You know, they got Chipotles in like Iowa and New Mexico and crappy states like that. I don't want brisket from New Mexico. I don't want Iowa brisket, Iowan brisket. I don't want Massachusetts brisket, especially from Chipotle. He had food poisoning, and Derrick Henry literally said, I'm just surprised we had enough toilet paper to accommodate his needs. He's healthy. The Chipotle is out of his system. He's healthy. AJ Brown is back. Julio Jones is either in the doghouse. I know he's hurt, but it doesn't seem like
He has a hamstring injury.
I know he's hurt, but him and Vrabel were already going at it before he got hurt. He was wondering why he was coming off the field, why he wasn't in, why he's not getting he's hurt. AJ Brown, I like the over 67 and a half receiving yards for AJ Brown.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. And that's why I brought it up on the show sheet, because it seems surprisingly low. Like, I know AJ Brown hasn't been the volume king, but in this game, there should be plenty of opportunity. I don't know if Josh Reynolds is going to be healthy. He wasn't even active in the game against the Bills.
Who cares?
Again, like you talked about Julio Jones, hamstring injury, another guy who's going to take targets away. If it's all AJ Brown, 67 and a half is a very beatable number for him against a Chiefs defense that's getting shredded through the air.
And if they're gonna get torn up through the air, they're gonna have to throw the ball. And I still don't, because Derrick Henry is one play away from an 80-yard touchdown run. Even if they're down 14-0, I don't think they stop running the ball because he really can take it to the distance any play. But I'm with you. I mean, no pass catchers. Stop with this. Was it Chester Rogers or whoever the hell, Cameron Batson and these random ass dudes? Like, just feed AJ Brown. Let him get on track. Build momentum towards a potential wild card push, and let Derrick Henry do his thing. So I'm with you. I'm over on Derrick Henry. I'm over on AJ Brown. Just smash the overs in this one. Over Tyreek Hill, over Travis Kelce, over Patrick Mahomes. Just take the over everything. Like, I think this is going to be one of those shootout games, and one that I'm looking forward to this weekend. Atlanta, Miami. At this point, none of us know who's going to play quarterback for Miami. It might be Tua, it might be Bridgewater, it might be Brissett, might be Deshaun Watson for all we know. If they pull off the trade, they'll probably start him with no practice. Just Deshaun Watson is in the building. But the person that we want to talk about is the man, Kyle Pitts, coming off of a bye, coming off of his best game of the season of his young rookie career. 49 and a half. That's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I brought it to your attention, man. This is an easy over for me against one of the worst defenses in all of the NFL. The Miami Dolphins are allowing 292 pass yards per game. I'm hoping and praying that Arthur Smith can get his shit together and finally get this team on track, coming off a bye. I like it, man. I like it. I think that Pitts can easily go over this number. Calvin Ridley is returning this game. He was dealing with some personal issues, but I think that only makes Pitts' job even easier. He's going to be open way more, with Ridley probably seeing double coverage. And this defense is bad. We just saw the Jacksonville Jaguars beat them somehow. You know, no one expected that, apparently, except for us. We called that. I mean, props to us, I guess. But Miami's terrible. They're just awful on both sides of the ball. And so I don't know what's going to happen on offense, but on defense, I know they're going to stay the same. And I think Atlanta can easily exploit them. And Kyle Pitts is the weapon to do that.
78 and a half for Ridley on Prize Picks. 78 and a half receiving yards for Calvin Ridley. Do you like anybody on the Miami side of the ball? I like Gesicki and Waddle. I like Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's been good this year, man. He's been consistent. I like him.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like Mike Gesicki. He's played like one of the better tight ends in the NFL this year. I know there aren't any official lines, but they've got, let me tell you, prospects, Mike Gesicki's receiving yards, 49.5, and Jalen Waddle at 61.5. Do you like either of those? I like Jalen Waddle's reception total. Like, with Tua back.
We're going back there. We're going back
You
there.
did it last week, man. I
know, but we've been here before. How can you do it?
I feel confident. Tua's back. He peppered him with like 13 targets last week. He caught 10 of them.
Yeah.
I feel good with Tua. I mean, they gave him 4 on the first drive. He didn't catch another one to the third quarter, but he ended up coming through. And if Atlanta's going to put up points, making bets tell a story. I do like Jalen Waddle over the receptions. They'll probably set it at 4.5 or 5.5 again. It's probably going to, because it's always been 4.5. Try 4.5, 5.5. I wouldn't feel good, but I'm going to show some faith in Jalen Waddle, man. You can't do it?
Oh, Ray, how are you doing this to me? Like,
You can't
I
do it?
like Jalen Waddle.
You can't do
Bet
it?
him last time he had 13 targets, and I'm just like,
I know.
just give me pause, because to your point, four receptions or 4 targets on the first drive, and then he didn't see another target till the third quarter. What is he only part of the 15-play game script that they pre-make?
They got
ahead of the game?
They got to get the first 15.
The
and then
manufactured touches, and that's
they
it.
regroup at halftime, script another 15, and then get them going. I figured them out. Like, so if you want to do anything, bet the over on the receptions in the second half for Jalen Waddle. Because listen, Atlanta, outside of early, like they've played a lot better. A lot of people are talking about, oh, they're the worst team in the NFL. They're not. Matt Ryan has actually played really good football this season, and they're devoid a ton of talent. And if they win this game, they're at 500. I mean, if they win this game, they're back to 500 on the season. Coming off of a bye, Miami got screwed. I think I saw something that they're the only team that comes off of like a Sunday London trip and they don't get a bye the next week.
Yeah.
So they got screwed. Miami.
At least they're playing at home, but yeah, that's another factor into this game is that Atlanta's only favored by 2.5, but Miami is literally coming from London.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor. We've never seen a team do this. If they just get shelled, maybe it's something we start taking into account, right? Teams coming from London, not on a bye. First time we've ever seen it.
They probably will never do that again. It's just Miami's such a shit show. They're just trying to really switch stuff up in Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want Tua to get traded. They're just pushing the narrative a little bit further.
What do you think about Tua? Like, what is your feeling about that entire situation?
Well, the craziest part for me, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, is like there's also other teams interested in Tua. Like he's not going back to Houston, it seems, which is kind of the craziest part. You hear Denver in the mix, you hear the Washington football team in the mix as just potential suitors. And I wonder if it opens up more teams to be like, oh, like Tua's not going to Houston? Let me see what I have to offer to get Tua on my team. Because he is a talented quarterback. He's shown he's been pretty good. He's completing, I think, like 60 or 70% of his passes right now. Hasn't been going deep too much, but I think he's been methodical with the ball. The problem for that team is the running game is just non-existent altogether, and the defense is terrible. So Tua's been in a lot of bad situations, and I think if you put him with a better defense, he would play much better. Now, again, going to the football team is not any defense coming from there, but if he does go to Denver, like we've heard a few reports about, I think that him with that Denver team, again, not even just the Denver team, but Jerry Jeudy, I think, is back after week 8. Another player that we know he is very familiar with. And so I think all those things together could pose a great situation for Tua Tagovailoa. But I don't know, man. Do you think there's another team that maybe would want to hop in the mix if it's not the football team or Denver?
People got to chill out, man. Tua is not – I can name at least 10 quarterbacks that are worse than Tua right now that are starting in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? To me, it just seems like we're seeing these teams. Like, think about this. That 2020 class is all about who was drafted right before somebody else. Like, Ruggs was drafted before all of the wide receivers, before CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, everybody. You've got Tua, 1 spot before Justin Herbert. Rager, 1 pick before Justin Jefferson. And then it just so happens that the player that, was taken before, like the player after Tua is like this generational talent at the quarterback position. The player right after Jalen Reagor is this generational talent at wide receiver. And for me, it seems like Miami is trying to fix their mistakes on the fly. Like they're like, man, we messed up. We should have taken Herbert. Like, how do we fix this right now? And the only way to try to fix it is like, all right, let's go after Deshaun Watson because Tua hasn't been bad. He played 9 games in 2020 post an injury that people thought was truly career ending. Like he would never. There were reports that he'd never be able to walk right again, let alone play football. And not only does he get himself ready to throw at like a modified like pro day, he played the second half of his rookie season. And I know for a fact, Jay, and you can back me on this, I was on record saying that Miami shouldn't play Tua at all. Like I would just redshirt him, let him sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, learn, and then get him ready for this season. They throw him in there in 2020 knowing he's not 100%. And then what do? They pull him, they put him in. They put him in, they pull him out. Like they don't even give the kid confidence. And then he's played in what, 3-4 games in 2021, and you're already pulling the trigger on a player that you spent the number 5 overall pick on that you said is going to be your franchise quarterback. I just don't get it. Like if Miami comes out and says that Tua is a bust, he's not it, we've got to find better, fine. No argument from me. You know, the Arizona Cardinals realized that really early with Josh Rosen. They were like, dude, he ain't it. Like everybody saw that. But I don't think we're seeing that with Tua. And even when he played last year, you know who the number 1 wide receiver was for him when Devontae Parker wasn't in the lineup? Jakeem Grant at times is who Tua was throwing to. So it just seems like some of these NFL teams are truly playing fantasy football with their rosters, right? Like if you draft this guy to be your franchise, give him time to give him a full season of evaluation. Where is the art of patience gone? And it isn't like he's been horrible.
They got those paper hands, man. They're just too ready. They got their investment. They paid up for it. It fell, and now they're like, oh no, we got to get rid of it before we lose more. We lose even worse.
Yeah.
And I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to make that team much better. Like I mentioned, it's the defense. That's the problem.
It's the defense. It's the offensive line. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the head coach. Is Watson better than Tua? Yes.
Absolutely.
Nobody is debating that. But here's my question. Do you need Deshaun Watson to win? Do you need Deshaun Watson to win a Super Bowl in the NFL? And the answer to that is no. You don't need that to win in the NFL or to win a Super Bowl. You need a complete team around you. You need players. You need a system, a coaching staff. Like you need all of that in order to win. To me, it's just a bad situation in Miami, man. Bad situation in Miami. Jets and the Patriots. What are we talking about here? What are we going with this?
Can we skip this one? This game is going to be awful. It was awful the first time around. It's going to be awful the second time around. If you're planning on betting this game, just don't. Like, it's just not a game worth betting. Pats are favored by 7.5. They're probably going to cover that if you want to take the spread. I'm expecting Zach Wilson to be a little bit better than he was last time around against this New England defense, but not much better. And, you know, like I told you, Mac Jones didn't play very good against this Jets defense. I think that Robert Saleh really did confuse him. I think now Saleh has more tape on him, and it could be an even worse performance from Mac Jones. We've talked incessantly about how bad the Patriots pass catchers are. Not just the tight ends, not just the running backs, not just the wide receivers. They're all bad. The system is bad. Bill's getting criticized for not going downfield more. This is going to be a dog shit game, honestly. I don't want any part of it from an action perspective, and I think we can just skip right over it to the Carolina Panthers and New York Giants. Another shit show that I'm not too excited about, but Carolina is favored by 3 on the road, and I do like them to cover that spread. The Giants, last week, Daniel Jones, easily the worst quarterback in all the NFL. He threw 3 picks and he fumbled, was playing against the Rams defense. And personally, I think the Carolina Panthers defense is just as good. They're the second best defense in terms of passing yards allowed at 196. This game has underfest written all over it. Sam Darnold was good, but the biggest problem is that he's just been too inconsistent.
He was terrible.
Well, last week he was terrible, and the week before he was terrible. But we've seen good flashes from him, and so if he's not throwing the ball to DJ Moore, he's not doing much. But I think to his credit, Robbie Anderson was god awful last week. He dropped tons of passes.
Yeah, he was terrible.
And so they couldn't really get anything going. I think he only caught the 1 pass, and he saw 11 targets. or something ridiculous like that.
11
So
targets and
we'll see what happens with the
he
Panthers.
wears number 11, saw 11 targets, caught 1 pass for 1 touchdown.
Was 4 touchdown though. So,
Well, I said that's a 1-1-1.
redemption maybe?
1-1-1, man. It's something to it, man. DJ Moore, over under 77.5 yards.
I like it. I think
like
he can
it.
go over 100 in this game.
I like it. All right.
But that's it though. Like CMC not back. Chuba though maybe could exploit that defense, but they are better against the run than
Is
other teams
Saquon
are.
is Saquon out again? I'm just assuming he's out.
I don't think he's playing.
And Kadarius Toney, nothing for Kadarius Toney.
Haven't heard anything from Tony. I'll look right now though.
All right. Well, we'll move to Cincinnati, Baltimore. There are some things we like in this one. Of course, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson. The Bengals are 5th in the NFL in points per game allowed, right? 18.5. That defense is balling. The Ravens have the 5th best rushing attack in the NFL. And Jay, you said you liked the under initially, right? But the Bengals linebacker, Logan Wilson, had to run his mouth this week and said that Lamar Jackson is just a running back playing quarterback. Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm not a big narrative guy, but this is not what you want to hear if you're an underbacker, because this just makes the Ravens want to drop 50 on the Bengals. And while the Bengals defense is much improved, the defensive line is much better than we expected it to be. This Ravens team is going to be going after Joe Burrow, and they're going to be flying on defense because they're going to rally behind their quarterback because they know that he is a more than capable quarterback. He is an MVP candidate this year, and he's playing out of his mind. So with that being said, I think that the Ravens will probably win this game. They will probably cover. And I think Lamar is probably going to show that he's a little bit more than just a running back playing
quarterback. Yeah.
And I would not be shocked at all if Logan Wilson catches a few shots from some of those linemen and some of those receivers, because he had to run his mouth. He couldn't just, I don't even know if he's good. I've never heard of this guy before.
This is what I love about the Ravens is John Harbaugh embraces that narrative. Like, he is going to try to put it. First of all, it's a division matchup. First of all, the two AFC North teams. That's first and foremost. Cincinnati is good. This is 100% going to, there is some narrative fuel on this fire. Lamar, prize picks 240.5 passing yards. Rashad Bateman, I think this could be a Rashad Bateman game. Like, I think Rashad Bateman could get in the mix. Yeah, hey, listen, he was tied for targets with 6, had 4 receptions. I think Baltimore's going to put it to him, man. The last time.
Oh, yeah.
The last image I can remember of Lamar versus Cincinnati, I know it was some years ago, but you know what run I'm talking about, right? Like what Lamar Jackson did.
He broke like 5 tackles.
Spin in the open field. He really said that about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. This is going to be a rough game for the Bengals and Bengals fans because it's also at home. It's in Baltimore. So not only do they have Lamar and him being fueled and the whole team backing behind them, but the fans on top of that are going to be just screaming and yelling and hollering. It's going to be a crazy game.
77.5 for Jamar Chase. Did we just hit the over? Or
just go after it.
Or do you like Baltimore? Baltimore's defense is good. Do you think they lock them up this one? My
only fear is Marlon Humphrey. You know, Marlon Humphrey is damn good. He hasn't been playing his best football this year, but he's still a good pretty corner. Damn good. And he'll play up to Jamar Chase.
Chuck Clark is good. They've got Chuck Clark is a good back-end safety. I'll say this. Baltimore's not going to be afraid to challenge Jamar Chase like it seems like every other cornerback in the NFL is. Like they will not be afraid. You know, all the pre-draft sort of concerns about him being able to beat press coverage and separate. We're going to see this one. If he can exploit Baltimore, I don't think there's any stopping this kid. No stopping him. He's still the front runner for NFL MVP Rookie of the Year. A little bit ahead of Mac Jones. But this is going to be a fun one, man. I'm excited to watch. This is going to be a good game. And just so I don't think we talked about the over-under. But Baltimore is favored by 6.5. Favored by a touchdown. And the over-under is
47.
47. Yep, 47. All right. Philly and Las Vegas. Hurts versus Bisaccia and the Derek Carr-led Raiders. Bisaccia. The Philadelphia Eagles are allowing the 5th most rushing yards in the NFL on a per-game basis, but they are top 5 in defending the pass, which seems crazy because I thought their secondary was a weak point, but they're only allowing 211.8 yards per game. Jay, you like the Eagles in this one, right? Because of the defense and how they've been playing. Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts over under 249.5 passing yards. Talk to us about why you are so bullish on Philadelphia in this matchup.
One of the reasons why I really like the Eagles is I like them in close games. As much as we make fun of the Eagles, we say their play calling is trash. I don't think that the Raiders are gonna be able to run away with this one. I think it's gonna be a close game, and I think that pass defense is gonna keep them in it. The Raiders can run the ball, we all know that, but I think that that's gonna slow the game down and make it easier for Jalen Hurts in the second half. He's really exploded in second halves. He's had to come back a lot in games, and I think if you allow him to get going and get that confidence going early, I think it's a very exploitable matchup against the Raiders defense that really isn't very good. So if you think about those things, like the Raiders having to play a little bit slower, the deep passing game probably won't be there as easily. Darius Slay will probably have someone locked up, whether it's Henry Ruggs, whether it's Darren Waller. We'll see kind of how they choose to match that up. But regardless, the secondary has been a lot better than I thought it has, and I think the Raiders are going to be forced to run the ball a lot more than I expected, simply because that's what the matchup dictates. And on top of that, Jalen Hurts, 250 passing yards, very beatable, especially when you consider Devonta Smith is going to be just cooking these defenders. I know I said it last week, and I don't know why he didn't get the ball, but he's still going to be cooking defenders whether he gets the ball or not. So as long as Jalen can get him the ball, as long as they can maybe run the ball a little bit, I think Jalen's pretty pissed off that he lost last week because, he did kind of have a shot towards the end of the game. It wasn't as close as maybe the score indicated, but he did, he kind of brought them back. And I think this game, he's not going to have to do that. The Raiders aren't going to run away with it. And I like the Eagles, man. I think they're going to cover, and I think they're going to win the game outright.
All right. Let's look at the second half of the slate. Detroit versus, good grief, is that minus 1,004 on the money line? Hey, Jay, you got to talk about your YOLO parlay, man.
My YOLO parlay. Let me pull it up off my computer.
Yeah, pull that up. So we've got the Lions and the Rams, revenge game for Jared Goff.
Both quarterbacks.
This is a Jared Goff revenge game. Screw Matt Stafford. He ain't going to do anything. This is Jared Goff, his coming out party. He's going to show Sean McVay that, damn it, I led this team to the Super Bowl. I did this, and you shipped me off because I don't know why you shipped me off, because you called a poor game, but this is Jared Goff's coming out party. No, we're kidding. Matthew Stafford, 2.5 touchdowns over, 286 yards, 287 yards over. I'm not taking the over rushing yards. Will not do that for Matthew Stafford. I will take the under on that. Darrell Henderson's been playing well, 79.5 rushing yards. Cooper Kupp, okay, 92.5 receiving yards. Yes, sign me up, please. What's your YOLO parlay?
So the YOLO parlay, if you will please bring up the screen with the second half of the graphics, we have the Detroit Lions money line. I know, Detroit Lions money line, 689. The Houston Texans money line against the Arizona Cardinals. So we have the Detroit Lions at plus 689 against the Rams. We have the Houston Texans at plus 893 against the Arizona Cardinals. And we have the Chicago Bears at plus 525 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. These are the three double-digit plus spreads on the week. And if you were to parlay all three of these together, a $20 wager as per our FTN parlay calculator would net you
plug that
$10,400. $20 wager, $10,400 payout. That is 523 to 1. Now, I will be honest about this. This is probably longest of shots. It's the longest shot parlay you may ever play.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I don't think the Bears will win this game. I just don't. But I do know that the Arizona Cardinals do not always play up to their opponent. And if somehow the Lions can beat the Rams, which I don't think is impossible.
You are crazy.
Even the two of them together, I think, has a pretty decent shot at odds. It's the Bears game that fears me to break the parlay. But I would definitely want to take a shot at Lions and Houston parlay. And if you want to parlay it with Chicago, I think that's the ultimate long shot. But just the two parlayed together is a great long shot bet.
Yeah, this is if you
come on, Ray, $20 to win $10,000.
If you hit this, I need $50 just off
I gave you the bet. I told you the odds.
No,
All
no,
you
no.
got to do is bet it.
If you hit this, I just need gas money for everything that I've done for you. That's all.
Some gas. What's gas? What's the gas price down
Dude, I
there?
filled up to
I paid $70 to fill up a 45-liter tank.
how many liters?
I
How many
know.
gallons is that? How many gallons is
It's
that?
about 10 gallons.
Dude, what do you drive?
Or it's a little over
a
10
Chevy
gallons.
Volt?
No, I drive a Subaru Impreza. If we're just
Okay.
getting real personal. Do you want my license plate number too?
Man, I never knew what you. I didn't even know you owned a vehicle.
That
I didn't know you owned a vehicle.
you didn't know I owned a car? It's almost paid off, sir. How dare you?
Excuse me. I filled up this morning. I was on on flat E, right? Filled up, and it was $72 to fill up. I've got a 23-gallon tank. I drive a truck. I drive a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
That is. We got to start doing these gas money parlays. We got to get back to that. We started that for a little bit.
Check it out. The all gas money show. Love it, man. Yeah.
That'll also be our new stream on the YouTube channel, the All Gas Money Show.
All right, where did we leave off?
We are sitting at the Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams. We like the over on Matthew Stafford, over 2.5 touchdowns.
Yep.
I will say to you, the yards scare me because the Lions are awful. We saw the same thing happen last week against the Giants.
Yeah.
But I think he can go over. I think this is a revenge game narrative. I think
like
Stafford's
the under rushing
over.
yards, under 3.5 rushing
under
yards.
3.5 rushing yards. Darrell Henderson has to get 80 yards. The Detroit Lions are allowing 130 yards per game on the ground. So I like Henderson over there. We like Cooper Kupp over. We didn't touch on DeAndre Swift, but his over-under is 44.5 rushing yards. Hate that number. 35.5 receiving yards. I'm kind of iffy on it. I don't know how you feel about that one. Just I don't think I can go there with DeAndre Swift. Not this week.
Man, not this week. I'm going to leave Swift alone. I love Swift, but I'm going to leave him alone. Leave him alone this week. Houston, Arizona, 17.5. Look at the spreads. 15.5, 17.5, 12.5. And you're betting all those teams to win. You're betting all the dogs to win. That's some balls right there. The Cardinals are second in the NFL in points per game allowed, so defense is just great. The Texans are allowing the second most rushing yards in the NFL. So when Derrick Henry, when he plays the Texans, bet the over. That's probably going to be set 150 freaking yards. The Arizona Cardinals are the only undefeated team in the NFL, and it's because, Budda Baker and Byron Murphy, their pass defense is great. Isaiah Simmons is playing very well. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, revenge game for Nuke. Yeah, not really.
Not really.
Bill O'Brien's not there anymore. I'm sure he still wants to put it to Houston, but Bill O'Brien's not there anymore. Dude, James Conner, over 70 rushing yards last week. I know Chase Edmonds was dealing with a little bit of an injury. Don't know how he's practiced this week. I haven't even looked at the injury report. But I'm assuming.
I really like James Conner. Yeah, I think he's going to be a smash play. I don't think the Cardinals are going to need to do much in this game. My only fear, honestly, and this is where I would say don't bet Kyler Murray and don't bet DeAndre Hopkins. I could honestly see the starters potentially getting pulled in this game. Like I really could. If for some reason they run away with this game early, maybe Kyler Murray just sits the second half. Like maybe, honestly, this could be a college game where it's just the home favorite just dominates early and you just sit the starters, because why would you waste Kyler Murray's time and talent on the field for a potential injury when you have capable backups that can play and get actual playing time in a game? The Texans, man, who knows what they're going to do? Like every week is a different week. They lost by 30 last week to the Colts. Like I don't know what's going to happen, but I expect the Cardinals to probably win, even though I am going to bet on Houston just in case because the odds are silly. But yeah, man, I think I would just stay away from everyone. But James Conner's the guy I do like for his rushing prop.
All right, Chicago, Tampa Bay. Look, Tampa Bay, they're the best team against the run. So I know Khalil Herbert. I get Justin Fields. Damian Williams is supposed to be back. But you just don't want to play running backs versus Tampa Bay. You just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it, right? Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are averaging 340 passing yards per game, first in the NFL. They are about to light Chicago up, man. They are going to light Chicago up. The Bears are on the opposite side of the spectrum, dead last at 117.2 passing yards per game, which is 50 yards lower than the second worst team, the New Orleans Saints, 169 yards per game. What Wait, hold on. Am I reading this right? They're only allowing that many that can't be right, Jay.
No. No, the Chicago Bears are only passing for 117 yards per game, like on offense.
Oh yeah, that can't be right.
No, that's the stat.
They're only throwing
117
for
yards.
117 yards per game.
Yes.
No, I don't believe it.
Yes, they don't throw the ball at all. They've been awful. Look at Darnell Mooney, and look, the only game that Justin Fields did much of anything was against the Lions, and he only threw for like 208 yards.
117 yards per game.
Yeah, that's why they're DFL in the NFL. They're dead fucking last. That's why, because they don't throw the ball. They can't. That's why A-Rob only has like 40 yards. Yeah, see, but okay. Here's the thing, though. If we're just being honest, is Fields going to throw the ball 50 times this game? Because how are they going to run?
Yeah.
How are the 54.8 yards per game? Can Fields buck the trend? Can he finally get this would be a career high in passing yards, I believe, for Justin Fields. If he hits 219. Over under 218 and a half. Ray, can Justin Fields do it? Can Darnell Mooney do it? Can Allen Robinson do it this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they're probably going to lose by like 50?
Oh man. Yeah, I think he can. Just because they're going to be down so much that they're going to have no choice but to throw the ball. Like they're not going to be able to run. So here's what's going to happen. Either they're going to be down by so much Matt Nagy pulls them and puts Nick Foles in, or they leave him in and let him just throw. I like the over.
You like the over?
I like the over, but I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're taking the under because it's just ridiculous. Why would he throw for 218 yards? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. It's funny because, we've been betting the pass attempts. I think he has a much better shot at the pass attempts than the yards because we just haven't seen it. The Bucs defense is bad, but it's not Detroit Lions bad. Like it's just not a great defense. And that pass rush, you think it's not going to get home? Oh, it'll get home. And Justin Fields will be running for his life. But I honestly just think the Bears are going to concede this game. They're on the road in Tampa. Man, the Bucs are going to slaughter them. They're favored by 12.5, over under a 47. I don't know how I feel about the over under because I just don't think the Bears are going to score very many points. I see them maybe getting to 10, at which point, the Bucs have to put up 38 points in this game.
Right.
I don't know, man. I do like AB though, 60.5 yards. He's averaging 71 yards per game at home. AB out in TB with TB is money.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, 60.5 yards. I love it. And he's averaging 1 touchdown per game at home. So that's another prop if you like that. Antonio Brown should be really good in this game because he's playing out of the slot. And the Bears do cover pretty well, but they ain't going to be able to cover AB. Like we've been saying this week after week. AB is the guy you want in this offense. He's the prop you want to target each and every week.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, final game that we're going to talk about, the Colts and the 49ers. San Francisco favored by 4. We don't know if Trey Lance is playing in this one or not. I know he's dealing with an injury. Missed practice yesterday, so it's looking like he's trending towards not playing. Jonathan Taylor, George Kittle still on IR. Jimmy Garoppolo said his sore calf is feeling great. I like Jimmy. If Jimmy Garoppolo plays, I like him over half an interception because I know that's what it'll be set at.
Think he'll throw a pick in this game? That's so mean, man. Jimmy's he's coming down with calf injury. Honestly, I do think, and I put this in the notes, I think it's going to be good for the pass catchers. Trey Lance has been fine, but Jimmy Garoppolo can actually throw the ball really well. He's accurate. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see. But yeah, I just hate this game because I don't know what we're going to see from the Colts. They've had back-to-back great weeks. We saw T.Y. Hilton come on last week, but he always plays well against Houston, so I'm going to put zero stock into that. Now it's like, are the Niners going to play well? Because they're coming off a bye. So did Shanahan figure something out? They're playing at home. The defense should be well rested. I just don't know what to see in this game. The over-under is 44 points. I kind of like the under, but Jonathan Taylor is just the X factor here. If he gets going, if Michael Pittman plays well, if Wentz somehow is able to figure it out. Wentz has been playing
really well. Wentz is only getting that PFF said he only has 1 turnover-worthy throw, like on the season or something like that.
That's a good start.
Maybe I'm Anyways,
I just don't want to believe in him right now. I'm not ready to say Wentz is back. 2 great games in a row against Baltimore and against Houston. Of course, one was against Houston, but I don't know. A lot of variables in this game. I just don't see a clear narrative that I'm going to follow, whether it's running the ball, passing the ball, pass rush, whatever. There's just a lot of things up in the air from 2 middle of the pack, middle of the road type rosters. Not a game I want to target in the betting market.
Yep, Dallas on bye, Buffalo bye, Pitt, Jacksonville, Chargers, and Minnesota. Hunter keeps asking about college plays. We don't have time for that today. We got a whole day missing, but I'll post some my college plays this weekend. I honestly haven't even looked at the college slate yet, so I couldn't tell you. I know we looked at it earlier this week, but I'll look at that on Friday and post something either on Twitter or on the YouTube channel for the weekend. But Jay, appreciate you jumping on. Later than normal. I don't like it, man.
A little different today.
I'd rather just get it out of the way because now I'm looking at the clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, got a bunch of shit that I got to do. But thank you, man. Another good week. Happy 50th, man. Couldn't do this without you, bro. Like, we met years ago, and you're one of my best friends in the world now, and I get to do this with you every single day. But I'll tell you this. I won't be bothering you over the weekend. It feels good to stop looking at you after staring at your face for 5 days and talking post-pro. What are we going to do? Show sheet. I'm going to enjoy the day off tomorrow from you. I'm going to enjoy the weekend, and then we'll be back at it next Monday, and we'll talk about the Saints-Seahawks. Woof.
It's gonna be rough.
That's going to be
hopefully the weekend is good, though.
Yeah, hopefully the weekend is good. I think we got some good games, man. So we appreciate all of y'all tapping in. Thank y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, YouTube channel. Go to FCN Fantasy. Use the promo code ALLGAS. Save you 20% on the checkout. We appreciate y'all. Or is it 10 or 20, Jay? What is it? 10%?
I think it's normally 20, but I think it got reduced recently. But it's okay. You will get a discount promo code Wake Up or All Gas, whatever one you want to use. We have both of them on the graphics, so take your pick. Take your pick.
Whatever. I think they're the same amount of letters too. Wake Up. All Gas is 6.
All Gas.
Wake Up is 6. 6. Don't know where I'm going with this. But
Off the rails. We gotta get out of here now.
Yeah, let's go, man. We out. Peace.